There's something I don't think sculptors say out loud enough. Sometimes I wish I could just draw, because drawing feels lighter, easier to just, get right into it. You sit down, open up a page, you make little marks on the page, you flip through it, erase it if it's bad. Nobody has to see it. It doesn't take up space in your room. It doesn't stare back at you, because you can just literally close your book. Sculpting does stare back at you. Oh boy, does it ever. Sculpting sits there on your desk like proof of your current skill level, mocking you, reminding you where you are, and that can be very uncomfortable. I've had nights where I'm pushing clay around for 2 to 3 hours, and it just keeps getting worse. No matter what I do, it's just worse. The proportions drift, the anatomy loses structure, and the silhouette, well, it collapses. I can't just erase it, unless I push it off the table and stomp on it multiple times because I hate how it looks. That's a part people don't talk about a lot. You can't erase clay the way you erase a line on paper. You actually have to cut into it to rebuild it, sometimes stripping it down and rebuilding the armature. Admit that you're wrong. And sometimes admitting you were wrong means destroying the part you like the most, right? That hurts more than it should. When you draw, you can fake things. You can suggest form with shadows. You can hide behind perspective. You can crop. You control what the viewer sees. But when you sculpt, it exists from every angle. You might like what you see head on, but you turn it slightly and suddenly it looks like a melted candle. You look from it above and the skull shape makes no sense. You thought the jaw worked until you rotated it. Clay exposes you. And I think that's why it feels heavier. There's nowhere to hide, literally. Every angle has got you. Gravity doesn't let you cheat. Balance doesn't let you cheat. The structure alone does not let you cheat. You're not just designing a monster, you're basically engineering it. And if the structure is weak, it shows immediately. The sculpt starts to tilt. Clay can start gliding off the armature if it's not adhering to it very well, or there's too much weight on one side and one side starts to pull down and crack the sculpt in half. That has happened many times. A lot can go wrong. Then there's also something psychological about it. Drawing feels private. You can fill up a sketchbook and tuck them away. They're intimate. They're forgiving. A sculpture takes up physical space. It feels permanent even when it's not. It feels like a statement, like you meant to do that. So when it's bad, it echoes and it just feels louder. I've looked at other artists with stacks and stacks of sketchbooks and thought, man, I wish I had that. Years of visible progress on paper, pages you can flip through and see your progress through the years, and you can tuck away the pieces that you don't like. Just like that, close the book, tuck them away. I wish I could tuck my sculpts into a sketchbook, close it up, like Harry Potter, and just push it away somewhere else. I mean, hell, it'd be a lot easier for storage, that's for sure. With sculpting, your progress is heavy. It's storage bins, it's broken armatures, it's pieces you melted back down because you couldn't stand looking at them anymore. Or you need the clay for another project, so you strip down that project just so you can use that clay. You don't get clean archives, you get fragments. And sometimes it feels like you're behind. Like everyone else can crank out 10 drawings a night, paintings or whatever, while you're just sitting there wrestling with one head into existence for 3 days. When you're sculpting with clay, time definitely moves differently. 30 minutes refining one eyelid, 45 adjusting a cheekbone. You step back, it barely looks any different. It's slow, and it's brutal. Brutally slow, I would say. And in a world where everything is fast, that slowness messes with your head. You start wondering if you're inefficient, if you're bad, if maybe you picked the wrong medium. The digital space is fast, especially if you're a content creator, especially if you're an artist who's making content. It feels like you're expected to be making an art piece every single day if you can. But when it comes down to it, especially sculpting, that is not the case. I've had that thought of maybe I picked up the wrong medium. I've had that thought countless times, especially on nights when the sculpt looks worse at hour 3 than it did at hour 1. That's the ugly phase that nobody talks about. And the ugly phase is the hardest phase to get out of. In drawing, the ugly phase can live in light, construction lines. In sculpting, the ugly phase is three-dimensional and unavoidable. Each angle mocks you. It's sitting there under your lamp like a challenge, staring at you in the face, really beating down your ego, saying or telling you how much you suck. But here's the weird part, is that that's also why I love it. Because when it finally clicks, when the planes align and the silhouette reads and the creature suddenly feels like it has a good weight, it feels earned, you know? You didn't trick the eye. You built something that occupies space. It casts shadow. It exists whether you photograph it well or not. It's almost like a living being. You know, there's something powerful about holding a monster in your hand and knowing it wasn't there a few hours ago, but it's there now. That monster, you push that into existence. With resistance, with friction, with doubt. Sculpting feels harder because it demands more of you. Patience, spatial awareness, emotional tolerance, and the demand for shelf space. It also forces you to confront your mistakes. Physically. You can't pretend they're not there. You have to carve them out. But that confrontation, it really builds something that drawing doesn't always require. Resilience. When you've rebuilt a jaw 3 times in one night, you stop being precious about perfection. You learn to just jump in there and hack that jaw off and destroy it, and rebuild without panic. You learn that ugly isn't failure, it's transition. And maybe that's the real reason it feels harder. Not because the medium is mean, but because it's honest. You know, it tells you exactly where you are. There's no filters, no clever shading, no cropping, just mass, form, and truth. So yeah, sculpting feels harder than drawing. It's slower, it's heavier, it's more unforgiving, but it's also real in a way that keeps pulling me back. Even on the nights I think about quitting, and there have been many, many nights, even on the nights I just stare at the lump of clay and I think, I have no idea how to start this. But you start anyway. You push it, you ruin it, you mess it up, you get dirty, and you fix it. And somewhere in that fight, you do get better. Not instantly, not dramatically, but undeniably. And maybe that alone is worth the wait. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, leave a comment, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.